everyone, and welcome back to Gamer Bargains. On today's episode, I'm going to show you my personal crypto mining rigs and some of the profitability that you could see if you build something similar. Here we go. All right, everyone, this is my personal, my main rig here. This is, it's kind of a little bit of a hodgepodge rig. It has four Asus Strix RX 578 gigs, and I have one Asus RX 580 dual. So I mean, they're basically the same. You don't get much more out of a 580 between the 578 gigs. Roughly the same. I have them all at about um almost like 29 mega hash. It seems to be the most stable. It's like 28.9 is what they're all running at consistently. I did push the RX 580 a little bit more, but every now and then it would throw me an invalid share, even if I turned down, the voltage, or I turned up the voltage again to try to get it to not do invalids. But every time I always got a little bit of invalids. Now you could see that I'm pulling 893 watts right here on this little kilowatt meter I have, but that also includes my small mining rig that I have up on my bookcase here that I will show you in a minute, as well as I have my gaming, and editing PC that I'm now making this video with. So I have three computers on this line, off this one surge protector that's plugged into this 1 kilowatt meter. So typically this one rig will run me about 600 watts total. I have a Thermaltake 850 watt 80 plus gold. I also have the B150 Zotac motherboard. It has 7 PCIe 1 slots and 1 PCI 16 slot. And that's I dislike this frame very much. I got it from Newegg. It's like a no-name company. I think it's called like Baslek or something like that, or it was super cheap. It was like $50, and I hate this thing. It was a total pain in the neck to build, and the bar where the GPUs are screwed into, they all broke. It's like a little piece of plastic with these screws in it, and I didn't even tighten it down the way, and it busted them. So some of them I have being held up by Velcro zip ties. So cheap frame, I dislike it. I will leave a link down in the comments below so you do not buy this frame, so that way you can look out for it and not buy it. So this is my personal mining setup here. It's getting about 144 145 mega hash right now consistently, and I'm using Hive OS with Hive on pool because I have a second rig that just has one GPU right now until I get another one. So with Hive OS, you get one rig that you can mine anywhere you want for free, and then if you put another rig on there and it doesn't mine to Hive on pool, you have to pay for all your rigs then. So right now I'm mining to Hive on pool just for the free feature that I like. That way I don't have to pay. And I am using Team Red Miner. I was using Phoenix Miner, but I had to go back a few versions. I think I was at like 5.4C, and I was just having a lot of issues with Phoenix Miner. So I switched to Team Red Miner, and it's been super stable for me. So if you're going to use AMD, I highly suggest using Team Red Miner. It's I've had really good stability with it. I haven't had any issues since I switched. So yeah, this is my setup. I'll show you guys my Hive OS and the breakdown here in a minute. Now I'm going to show you my other rig that I have that I'm just starting on, and maybe this could be another way that you guys could start your mining adventure and it doesn't really break the bank. All right, guys. So this is my second rig. I just kind of started it because this GPU in here is the Sapphire Pulse RX 5600 XT. I love this card for 1080p. You throw 1080p at this card, it high settings all day long. Never had a problem with this. And you can see a little bit on my left right here, my gaming PC, which I'll give you guys a shot of that here in a second. So I just have this. It's just sitting on my bookcase, which is right next to where my gaming, desk is and stuff like that. I just needed some extra room on my desk, so I utilize this little bookcase. So as you can see, it's nothing special. Right now, I'm using and the motherboard box is covered in priority tape because yeah, it got sent away and it got repaired, I guess, from the previous owner. But the motherboard is a Gigabyte Z170 K7, which was a really good motherboard back in its time. Um, so right now it has a Intel uh, Celeron 3930 in there right now, and it has. I'm only using 4 gigs of RAM. And I haven't had any stability issues in HiveOS yet, but I'm also only running one GPU, um, which is the Sapphire Pulse 5600 XT. And down below the motherboard box, you can see that I have a power supply. It is a Gigabyte 850 watt 80 plus gold, and it's fully modular. So right now I only have just the cables that I need, and I didn't have to use a riser because I am utilizing the PCIe 3.0 times 16 on the board. So I didn't even need to even buy a pack of risers, which I have risers. So that's one way you guys could, save a little bit of money. You guys just use the motherboard box. You could put like this particular motherboard has 3 full-size slots in it, so you could put 3 GPUs in here, even if the other 2 slots are running at ×2 and ×1. It doesn't matter because that's fast enough to do crypto. So you guys could put 3 GPUs in here, and it's a little hard to see, but right here where my finger's pointing, I actually put some motherboard standoffs in the box, and I super glued them in. So the motherboard is sitting on, motherboard standoffs like you would see in a traditional case. So it is sitting up a little bit above the box, and I haven't had any issues. So this is a good way. So you don't have to buy a mining frame for like 80 to 200 bucks. I mean, dude, they're ridiculous right now. So that'll save you some money. A pack of risers of 6 risers, that's like another 60, 75 bucks. So that's like $300 you could cut off your initial investment. And if, let's say, you're going to do it, like this is my second rig that I'm just starting on, and let's say you only have 1 GPU or maybe 2 GPUs, this is a good way to save a little bit of money until you can really get things built up, so where you need a mining frame or something like that to hold all your GPUs. For right now, if you have 3 or less, this will be perfect. You can just sit here and use the motherboard box and save yourself like 300-400 bucks right here, and it'll be a lot cheaper to get going. I also picked up this motherboard from OfferUp for 60 bucks. So that was a really good deal. And I also got the Celeron processor on OfferUp as well for 20 bucks. So I got the processor and the CPU for 80 bucks. And I think I had this extra 4 gig stick of RAM laying around. So I was using it for another build, but I never used it. So yeah, this is my second build right here. It's also running on HiveOS, but I have this one because this board is a particularly nice gaming motherboard. It actually has an M.2 slot, so I actually have HiveOS running off an M.2. So it has really, when it updates the actual miner, it doesn't take as long. The other miner I use, my main one, is on a USB, which I'm going to consider changing it over to an SSD here. So yeah, these are my 2 mining rigs, and then I also have my little power button right here to turn the mining rig on and off. Those are super cheap. It was like, I don't know, like $4 for like a pack of 2. So yeah, if you want to get this done on the cheap, this is the way to do it right here. You save a lot of money doing this. So and this rig right here is, I did not BIOS mod this 5600 XT, as my RX 570s and 580s are BIOS modded and they're getting the higher hash rates. But I did not want to BIOS mod this 5600 XT, as it does have a second BIOS in it, so if something happened, I could always go back and use the other side. But after watching the videos, and some of the 5600 XTs you can't BIOS mod, and I just don't want to risk bricking my card. And it's only for another like 4 mega hash, which I'm not really worried about. So let's go into HiveOS and I will break down what my profits and what I'm making right now with these rigs and how they're running. All right. Now this is the HiveOS overview. So this is you'll see this is my farm right here. I'm getting about 183.5 mega hashes at 486 watts. That's not really true. That's just counting the graphics cards in the software, and you have to add about 20 to each. So I got 6, so that's another 600 plus it's everything else. So we're probably right around like 700 watts right now, 750 for both rigs. Which the one rig by itself is not as because it only has one card. But I'm getting to that. I'm gonna get another couple cards in there, and I'm trying to find some more 5600 XTs. So let's go. Let's get into it right here. So these are my five by RX 570 and the one RX 580. They're pretty much all the same. And I lucked out and I got all Samsung memory, which is pretty nice. It's usually the best stuff you can get. And you never know which kind you're gonna get. So this is my constant hash rate's at 144.1. But as you can see right here, there was a little blip right here in my hash power. I've been having a couple little problems. It seems at night right here. Sometimes it like disconnects from the pool and it has to reconnect. I was good for like the last 6 days, but it seems like it had another little tiny hiccup again. So then you have your hash rate here on Hive on Pool, and as you can see, it fluctuates a lot, like compared to this one up here. And what that is you'll get valid and invalid shares, and as you get invalid, it will drop it down. So you'll see I'm down to 102, and then it'll say I'm at like 187. Sometimes it even goes up to like 190, which is way more than what I have. So that's why it fluctuates that way, is because due to how many valid shares it's finding. So as you get invalids, it drops, and as you get more valids than invalids, it'll go up. But it just kind of evens out over time. So this is with each card. They're all about the same. They're all like at 28.8, except for the RX 580. I decided to do this just for stability. I was having some stability issues with overclocks, so I just turned it probably a little too far down. But I just kept it this way. That way I can keep all the cards running cool. They're all at 50 Celsius right now. 53, 57, 54, 57. The fans are at 47%, so their fans are really low. You can't even hear this thing really when you're gaming or in the room. It does still produce quite a bit of heat in my office, so I usually leave my window cracked like this far to help like offset that heat, because yes, it will heat the room up. These are my overclocks right here. I'm at 1100 across the cores, 875 millivolts on the cores, 875 millivolts on the memory, and 2020 25 megahertz on all the memory clocks right here. So this is my main rig. This is my 5 GPU rig, and then we'll go back to the farm, and then we'll look at the 5600 XT. And as you can see, there's even a downtime for this as well. This could be like some kind of server maintenance. So it's unlikely that both disconnected at the same time. Maybe there could have even been like, maybe my modem was updating or something and it went down for a few minutes. So that's possible as well. So this is hashing right now at 39.36 mega hash. This is not BIOS modded. My other RX 570s and 580s over there, they are BIOS modded. And I will do a video on how to BIOS mod in the future. So we have 43 Celsius on the core and 78 Celsius on the memory. So on newer cards, which is really nice, is you'll get both the core temperature and the memory temperature to let you know maybe your memory will always run hotter with Ethereum because it's very memory dependent. So it will definitely be a lot higher than your core. Um, I have the fan at 55%, which I have it set to 45, so it's not really following what I told it to do, but not sure why that is. I have 1100 on the core, 725 millivolts on the core, and 925 or 920 on the memory here. And this is the mega hash I got. Now I could bump it up to 930 and get it to like 39.9 mega hash, but every now and then it throws me some invalids, so I turned it down by 10 megahertz. So it just gives me better stability. To me, I like having stability more than trying to sit there and just figure it out all the time. I'd rather just turn it down just a tiny bit, and that way I can just let it run and it's golden. Um, so I like fiddling with these things as least amount as possible, but you're still going to make good money. If I did do the BIOS mod, it would only increase this by 4 mega hash, which is not a whole lot. But um, I just don't want to do it because it's a lot more difficult than the RX 570 and 580 BIOS mod, and I'm not sure if this would work on mine. So I just don't want to risk it. I'd rather just play it safe and just keep mining. Um, so let's go back to the farm here. So up here in Hive OS, this will show you. This is because both of my rigs are using the Team Red miner, which is great for AMD cards. You want to use. I recommend Team Red miner. I was using Phoenix miner and I had a bunch of problems with it, and I even went back like 3 or 4 versions. I still had problems. So far, Team Red miner is to me the best AMD miner there is, really, and I haven't had any issues. So I have point 0.03 ETH. The minimum payout on Hivon pool is 0.1 ETH. So usually it takes me about 5 to 6 days, depending upon profitability of Ethereum. I've gotten this paid as quick as 4 days, but then if it's difficulties up right now, and prices are down, it's like right now the profitability is not super good. But it could be better. Um, so so right here it says total watts consumed is going to be 480, and that's not right. As I told you before, I'm probably more like around like 750. Um, and that's between 2 power supplies, and they're 2 separate rigs. So now let's go to Hivon pool, and I'll show you some statistics here of what I get at the pool. So now right here, I also use LOL Miner on my gaming PC as well as on my wife's gaming PC to kind of like boost the hash rate up and get me a little bit more money. I mean, I've already paid for everything in those computers. I might as well make some money on the side and you know get more money out of it and get my return back on my rigs faster. So I like that. So right now it says I have 2 active workers and I have 1 inactive, and that's because my gaming computer right now, while I'm making this video, is not going to be mining. So right now it's just going to show just my 2 AMD rigs here that I have going, and then this is my RTX 3070 and my gaming rig. Which if you look at the hash rate, that's wrong. That's not what it does. It does. I have mine set at 70% power limit on MSI Afterburner, as well as 1200 megahertz overclock on the memory, and I'm getting about 60 mega hash right now on my RTX 3070. So this is like my average mega hash over the last 24 hours. This will go up and down because as I turn off my gaming PCs on and off, it will boost it up and then it will go back down. So I use it as a nice little boost to help my earnings. So this is what I'm estimated. Hit refresh here again. So that's what I'm estimated to make at this week. Now when I turn on my other 2 gaming PCs at night, this is obviously going to jump up quite a bit. So it'll probably jump up to probably like $28 a day, and this will boost it up probably to like 0.12 ETH or something like that. So I just recently started mining to Hive on Pool, so I've had 2 payouts from them. And so far it's pretty good. I like it. It's working out pretty good. I don't have any complaints yet. So now this is how many stale shares I get over a 24-hour period. And you really want to watch this number because you don't want to pick a server that's too far away from you, and then you're getting a lot of stale shares. And what a stale share is it's you do find a share and it is accepted, but the latency, which is the time it takes to communicate from your computer or your rig to the server, is too great of a distance. So by the time you say it's accepted and send it to them to tell them about the share, they've already found it, and you don't get credit for it. So it's like it is a good share, but it's kind of not. You're not. Those shares end up being useless. So an acceptable share, stale share, I would say at 2%, I would start. 2.5%. I would start looking at as to why you're getting stale shares and how can you prove that. Maybe you need to change mining pools. Maybe there's something that's taking up a lot of bandwidth in your house. See, you could ping the servers and see what kind of latency you have to the servers. So that's something else you need to check. Right now, I'm at less than 1%, so I'm super happy with this. So that's perfectly acceptable. So yeah, that's the overview. This is what I make on just my small mining operation. I've been growing it and growing it, as I get into it. And especially in this time, trying to find video cards is literally impossible. But so it's a slow process, and this is what I'm doing at right now. It's what my farm's making right now, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's a good little amount of sign money every week. So I mean, even if I was just using these 2 rigs and not my PC, I would be making an extra $150 a week after they paid themselves off. So, which I'm already like halfway there already. So, it's a nice little side income. So, that's it for today's video. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Give it a like and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.